I think he has to go. I think.
Sorry, totally your way, right? Okay.
I live in Vancouver, BC, so I must learn Spanish. Okay, well, give me a word. Give me a word. ¿Cómo estás? That means how are you? Slow down. Muy bien. So I speak Spanish now.
Okay, well, for ahora estamos con la estrella de Russell. How are you doing? Really?
Yeah.
She's like Crystal.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so if I ask you something, sí. Okay. Ahora vamos a ver si Russell en verdad habla español. Russell, ¿habla español? Sí. He's trying to translate. He's trying to translate what's happening. Okay, perfect. So now what's
So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, John, I was telling John, reminding him the first time he came into the audition, we had our casting director, Lorna Johnson, and he had also Anna McRoberts, my producing partner. And John did his audition, and he did it very, very well. And then at the end, he said, well, you know, I'm doing the wrestling well. Do you want me to take my shirt off? And I said, no, you don't need to do that. I know you're in really good shape. And they never
Spray
forgave
tan and everything.
Yeah, they never forgave me for that from that point on. So. And then David, I met originally.
I tried to take my shirt off.
Yeah. Please don't.
Please don't.
I think it was something.
Anna was not upset. Yeah.
Anna was not upset. But David comes from a theater troupe in Vancouver originally, which is called Theater Sports.
The Vancouver Theater Sports League.
Yeah, Vancouver Theater Sports League. Okay. So and years ago when I started making movies up in Vancouver, I couldn't find comedic actors, and so I went to these performances of Theater Sports.
Vancouver Theater Sports.
Vancouver Theater Sports.
Vancouver Theater.
And that's where. So I've had a tradition of working with a lot of improv actors, and mainly because when we put a monkey, like Tom Gunderson was going to bring Crystal up. Yeah, come on. Tom, you know, we put, as we did the first day,
Great, it's over now.
put Crystal on David's shoulder, and then he had to act with John Rassenberg. I mean, you have to be prepared for it. And if you're one of these, if you're a prima donna, it's not going to go over very well, is it?
Well, I mean, I'm not a prima donna. And it's been a pleasure getting to work with Crystal.
Yeah. I think what we like to say is there are capuchin monkeys and there's Crystal. And she really is the top of the league there, wouldn't you say, Tom? Mm-hmm. If you do say so yourself.
Sure.
And Crystal's been in a number of movies. She probably has more credits than all of us combined.
A lot more power and influence.
Yeah. So, is there any questions you guys have about the movie that you'd like to ask us?
Where did you get the idea from for making it a wrestling movie?
You know, in our company, we have a meeting every week, and we go, "What's our next stupid idea?" And what we mean by that is not the idiotic idea. What we're looking for is something that is fresh and new. And nobody's ever thought about. We're not looking to copy anything else out there. And because we made a lot of movies with animals, so we got to find the next stupid idea. And we were playing with the word wrestle. I wanted to do a wrestling movie, and it was Russell, and it just became like that, and it just percolated for a while. So that's where they all come from, is sort of a niche idea. And then the second thing that I'm always looking for is, because I can't write, unless I know why I'm making a movie. You know, so it has to be about something other than comedy. I know comedy is going to be everything. So we had this, it was Anna McRoberts, my producing partner, writing partner, and I was like, you know, what is family about? And family is about connecting. And we started thinking about wrestling. That's where the strongest connection is. So those are the two things we have to have. We have to have a reason why we're writing it, and we have to have something that we think will book, something nobody else has seen before we can really make a movie.
What movie is a
Jack Russell and Golden Retriever this time?
Well, I love all dogs. But no, I think ultimately the reason we used Jack Russell was because of the play on the word wrestling, Russell. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The dog, Russell, and Crystal, do they live in the same place? Did you have to introduce them and have them work together? What was that dynamic like?
They don't live in the same place, different trainers. And Tom does an amazing job of having Crystal sort of act with just about anybody. But they are animals, and Tom has to make sure that they are well introduced and work well together. And they do. I mean, Crystal's the easy one, always, right? Okay.
Humbly speaking, yes.
Crystal acted circles around everybody, I think, in this movie.
Yeah, Crystal was hard to steal the show when there's a monkey on your shoulder. And no one's looking at me, I'll tell you that much.
That's what John Ratzenberger's big complaint with David is that he had the monkey on his shoulder. He turned and he goes, nobody's going to be watching me now. They're watching David. Why don't we put the monkey on my shoulder?
Yeah.
With the animal working actors, do they have a certain amount of time that they work and then they get a break and they get to speed a dog or a monkey?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They're. I thought you were worried about the actors.
No, don't worry about the people.
They don't get treated quite as
Take care of
well.
themselves.
This time the animals do. For sure. Yeah, they're very well taken care of, of course.
And here's our star.
Yay.
That's Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Brightley, right? Yeah. Brightley. So Brightley, we had a number of dogs that we, of course, Brightley is really the face more than anything else. Brightley is a beautiful mug.
How many Jack Russells do you have?
4 and 4, is that correct? 4 and 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good boy. How old is Brightley? Brightley's 2. 2, wow.
I'm 40.
Are you really?
I'm 40, but I think 31.
How about Crystal?
And how old is that dog of yours, David?
I don't do that.
280. But you don't look a day over 100.
Thank you.
Good. What's your?
How old's Crystal, though?
She's almost 21.
21.
Well, in monkey years, it's like a 2-to-1 age ratio compared to humans, so she'd be like 42 if she was a person.
But she doesn't look it, does she?
What's your favorite moment of shooting for both you and for the actors with Crystal and Brightley?
Why don't I let the artists say what their favorite moment was, and then I'll leave mine to the end.
You guys saw the movie and got to see some of the wrestling that Brightley did. And I've wrestled a lot of people. I've wrestled The Miz, Sheamus, The Undertaker, John Cena. And I will say that wrestling Brightley was actually a lot easier than wrestling Sheamus, for example, or wrestling The Miz. But for some reason, it felt really good to beat the dog. So I'd say that pinning Brightley and winning was my favorite moment of working with Brightley.
That would have been embarrassing otherwise, right? In the movie if you lost. Well, you did
Well, I
well.
did lose. I pitched an alternate ending, but
No one went for it, yeah. Actually, it was, I had a lot of favorite moments. But it was actually being in the old Ferraro wrestling arena, because every time we went in there, it was such a great set, and it was a shame that I had to go away when the movie was all finished, but every time we went in there and we were shooting there, it was always a great time. We're in this fantastic set. We got a dog, we got monkeys, we got amazing wrestlers, and when I was younger, we used to watch tons of wrestling. In fact, we used to make a snow wrestling ring with high snowbanks, and we would pretend to be wrestlers.
In Canada.
So I was kind of fulfilling a dream, even though I was never actually allowed to wrestle in the movie. I wanted to wrestle, and Robert was like, no, it's way funnier if you never get to wrestle, but you can wear this ridiculous costume. So that was my favorite time all the time, was always in the wrestling.
There was one time though where you put on the fur coat and you did a full hammer entrance.
Oh, that's right.
That
I
exists
for
in
the
some
bonus.
movies. Yes, and that's how I can tell for sure that Dave was a wrestling fan. Because he, I think, did a better entrance than I did wearing that thing.
Well, thank you.
But you're really
always
good
very
at
heavy.
on the poses quite frequently.
Yeah, I can do it. I might, maybe at the end, I'll walk out like a wrestler.
When the green light's on, like, this guy's got the goods.
Thank you.
You know, it's hard to pick favorite moments in the movie, but I think that what I'm really proud of in this movie, which is, you know, it's fine to say we're gonna have a Jack Russell Terrier wrestle a very large and robust man, and make it fun, energetic, and wrong word is believable, but suspend belief. You know, so what I think by having John, who's, you know, I never worked with wrestlers before, and what I learned about them is they have such incredible improv skills and ability to suspend belief and make it happen, which is wrestling, which is of course what David's background.
So the bar was set low.
But
Like what I like to do, set the bar low and then just.
But you can see, like, it has to be something that you as parents or and kids as well go, okay, I'm okay with this, a dog being in a wrestling room with a large man. So what I like about this movie is it actually works, you know, and I don't know when I go in, I'm just like, okay, let's see if we can figure this out. But that's really a testimonial to the actors. I really think the ending, the message behind it, the ending, and how John is defeated is by the intellect of the boy and working with the monkey and the dog.
So the wrestler's outsmarted by the dog and the monkey.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty realistic.
Sorry, buddy.
Relatively true to life.
But you know, and that I think pulling that off is really for me was the most important thing.
If I can add something, what I thought was the most enjoyable part was watching all of these guys, the actors, and even the first AD got into improv with lip syncing and dancing and wrestling moves in between takes to keep the entire crew, the rest of the cast, and all the extra actors that were involved entertained and keep their energy level up. That was pretty fun to watch.
I like doing the improv stuff with Crystal. Like she does the behavior where she hits your head.
I've never seen that before.
We started riffing off that, and I would say something stupid, and then Crystal would hit my head. And a buddy of mine came out with a movie. I haven't seen it, but he made a movie called The Marine. And I kept texting him videos about like, oh man, I can't wait to see your movie. Crystal hits my head. Hey man, I heard your acting is great in that movie. It's sort of like 5 of those things.
It's funny that you say hitting on the head because there's a scene where Crystal hits me on the head, and one of the first takes, Crystal has quite the punch. You know, like she was hitting us with and then Robert was like, don't react so much to the hitting of the head. I'm like, well, she's hitting my
I
head.
remember watching that. Your eyes, there was like a real reaction.
No.
She also tends to obsess about the same spot, so she tenderizes that one little area over time.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
is it true that Crystal likes bananas?
Yeah, she likes pretty much all fruits and vegetables. But we work her on set for yogurt, Nutella, mixed nuts and seeds.
Nutella.
Nothing but the best.
The Nutella worked well for me too.
Same.
With grapes on it?
Yeah.
Is this the first time that you work with animals?
Not my first time, no. I've worked in it a few times. But this was truly a great experience because I never worked so long with so many animals. And, you know, I was just always amazed by like what Tom and the other trainers were able to do and with the animals and how focused they were. And so in a way I was like, I've got to raise my game here and be ready to go because these dogs are hitting their marks and they're doing their thing. It was fantastic. And so to see it for an extended period of time really, you know, was enlightening, and I was like in awe of what they're able to do.
That's one of the nice things about the Jack Russell Terriers is that they're so focused. You know, they're ratters by trade, but their focus is incredible. The hard thing is for them to be goofy, because they're on point all the time. So you can see Brightley's just like, okay, what's my job now? What am I supposed to do? And they're fun to work with in that way. They're just right on point all the time.
I heard in Hollywood you should never work with children or animals before I made this movie. I think that is absolutely wrong. This is my first time working with both, actually, in this like big of a way. And both were awesome. Like the animals were right on there with everything. And they just make people happy, even making the movie. Like everyone's constantly fascinated with Crystal, constantly fascinated with Brightley, and the kids are always bringing positive energy. This is a really, really, I think we had so much fun making it that it just shines through in the movie that you guys saw.
I think you misquoted. I think it was don't work with animals, kids, or David Milchard. I think that's
That was the end quote.
I think that's a full quote.
And that it's wrong on 2 counts.
Yeah.
I think it was W.C. Fields that said that.
Yeah.
But I think that is true, that the film sets that when we make family movies, we have the kids come to play, animals are there having to play, you know, and the actors have to be playful, and that's what is always important for me when I'm casting, is that I find actors that have an improv background. Now the wrestling guys, same idea. They go with it. Whatever's happening, we're going with it. Yes, there's a monkey on your shoulder and it's chirping, it's picking the lice out of your hair, which we didn't know until afterwards David had. But and of course, Crystal took care of that. Apparently Tom has a little bit of lice.
I'm brittle.
So you have to be willing to go with what is happening on set.
And all the kids, Mason was amazing. All the kids were great with the animals too. Like everyone was really
Very respectful. I mean, the child stars, they took direction from us. I mean, just like they're professional adults. It was amazing, really. The best I've ever had on any show. You have something to say? That's okay.
I know. Yeah. All right, why are they talking to Tom? I don't know, they should be talking to you.
Yes.
Any embarrassing moments or blooper reels that we can look forward to on the DVD release?
Oh yeah, there absolutely are some blooper moments. I think that what's great for us is that we have animals that talk. They're 3-dimensional. You know, I started my career with the Air Bud movies, and the dogs would look cute, and they would tilt their head, and the ear would go up and down. But you could only really we had to, in order to know what was going on with the animal, you had to either human had to say it, or the music had to tell you what was going on emotionally. But now these are with all the visual effects and the quality of the visual effects nowadays, is that they really are their own characters, 3-dimensional characters with real feelings and real emotions, as he says in the movie. He's a monkey, real feelings and real emotions. Yeah, so I love, you know, and this is, I think, the best we've ever done. As I'm learning, we really were able to have Crystal as Honk be a character that had emotion, you know, and it's a little harder to do with the dogs, but with Crystal, and we now read on set every line, and I try to mimic what I want, you know, because nobody talks like this, you know, especially if you're Italian. Hands are all over the place. But Crystal's a good Italian, so she's great at moving her arms around, and Tom works the behavior. So we really try to on set and later on visual effects make them be real, breathing, feeling characters, and I think we accomplished that in this movie, at least the best I've ever done in my career.
So does that mean there's a sequel after?
Well, if you know our history, you know there's always a sequel. Yes, I mean success. You know, and that's really what is part of the success. As kids, all of us that have children know that they don't want to see something once; they want to see it over and over again. They want to fall in love with the characters in the Buddies franchise. I think was 7. I think 7, and then we had a spin-off. You were with me there, 12, I think. And the Air Buds were 5 movies. So they just fall in love with the characters and they grow. So yeah, so our intention is always to make more than one movie so the character can continue and the children can get to know it even better.
So are you planning to bring more wrestlers?
Yes, we are. You notice that John didn't die in the movie.
I mean,
We'll be the hammers.
Yeah, yes, in fact, we are ready.
of course. Are you, does that mean that you're bringing a golden retriever?
No, there won't be a golden retriever in this one. It'll be Jack Russell.
Hammer might show up with a golden retriever. Big old muscles. You never know.
Right then.
Yeah. What was your biggest challenge, and was it with the humans or the animals? And also the scooter. Is that, so you look like you've done a lot of fun on the little scooter he was riding?
Almost too much. We had to put a governor on that
Yeah.
motor, otherwise you just peel out.
Yeah, you know, so there's 2 questions. The scooter is kind of one of the fun things I wish we'd done more of. Because, you know, when you dream up these ideas, you go, well, how much is Crystal going to like this? And I work with a lot of different animals, so I know things that are moving, can spook, they get spooky with them. But Crystal is a very different capuchin. She likes to be on the motorized objects. In fact, we have something coming up for her. And I would have liked to have done more of it. I'll let you guys talk about the...
I like motorized vehicles.
Animals on motorized vehicles, I think, is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, again, you cannot stop talking about Crystal. She's incredible.
Talk about you, David. How's that?
Oh, do you want to talk about me now? Any questions for the real monkey?
See, got all quiet in here.
Yeah, and then again,
Intimidation.
maybe that's what it is.
People see this body.
I mean,
Since we're talking about David, I just want to say, David, I loved your arc as your character, because at first you were so stoic and kind of, I don't know, just like this, and then we got, the first time you smiled on screen, it was like, oh yeah, finally the kids broke through, and then the animals broke through. And don't you think that's kind of the way it is in life, that animals just loosen us up? Can you talk about that a little bit?
yeah, I think that's very true.
Yeah.
I think it's funny, my wife is actually babysitting a Boston Terrier right now. And I'm like, oh, well, why are we babysitting someone's dog? I don't have time. And then the dog, I come home and there's this little thing, and I'm like, all of a sudden, doing my taxes isn't so bad because I've got a little pooch on my lap, So don't quote me on that though, because my wife will let me get a dog.
And the IRS might look into your taxes.
Yeah. Who did your taxes? A Boston Terrier? Maybe if I could get Crystal to help, like if I could have a dog and Crystal can take my dog out for a walk and do all the hard stuff for me.
She does my taxes.
So like lots of banana write-offs?
Yes.
In the scene where Russell and Crystal hug each other, are they actually hugging each other, or is that a simulation?
It is. It's a simulation. So when Brightley is, it's a stuffy that's hugging her on a close-up on Brightley, and then there's and the vice versa is a stuffy. Crystal's hugging a stuffy. Yeah. We don't need to create any concerns there. Yeah. But hopefully nobody caught that.
Good luck for you.
Yeah, I mean, you want to create the emotional moment, but you also want to make sure you have to recognize your animals.
Even though this is like watching the animals talk, I actually really don't like movies with talking animals, but I
Right.
thought this was really well done.
Well, hopefully we're getting better at it. It's not really about the CG, which is the funny thing. It's like, because I watch other people's animal movies, and what we've spent a lot of time, because it's our own company that does all the visual effects. I think we do one thing better than anybody else, which is talking animals. But what really makes it believable is when they're, when I first started doing talking animal movies, the visual effects guys would go, the animal can't move. Like, okay, well, that's not, walk off the camera. So you can imagine if I did that to the actor, it would be a stiff performance, right? We do the complete opposite now, and the type of technology we use. When Brightley is on set and it's a talking shot, so there's 3 dots that track the computer, so the camera can do whatever it wants. And same, Crystal was always a challenge for us because Crystal moves. Monkeys are always moving, they're always assessing out the situation. And once you realize that works to your favor, then all these gestures and stuff make the talking scenes much more alive, just like you would talk if you're, at a dinner table or with your family.
No, I mean the scene where Max / Mason is getting when he's upset in the bedroom and Crystal and them hug. It's like that moment in the movie, like, oh my goodness, little like monkey supporting. It was very cute and beautiful.
There were some sniffles in the room from the crew that day.
Yeah, everyone like you see Crystal hug Max, and it's like everyone's like.
But I think one of the unique moments for me when I thought the movie was different emotionally between animals and humans having their conversations was really when he's revealed to Nate. And you hadn't seen him for so long. You thought he was a figment of your imagination, and you played that so well. But you gotta remember, David on the other side doesn't have a monkey talking. It's usually me talking or somebody else trying to help But what was great there, it had real connection, you know, and that is very, that's new for me.
Well, I have a question about that, because it's very interesting. When on a set, you've got the two actors, cameras this way and cameras this way, but you don't do that for the animals because they get tired. Is that what you're saying? You have a human reading the lines.
And there was sometimes I'd be talking to, like, depending on the shot,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'd be talking to like a stuffed monkey.
I
a
never
monkey.
thought about that.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Yeah.
As for an actor, it is.
Some actors do the same thing.
Yeah, some actors are like
Once
stuffed
they get tired.
animals.
I remember we had I won't mention the movie, but we had a really funny situation, not this movie, another movie, and a well-known actor was there, and it was at the end of the night, and we couldn't get the eye line quite right for the artist, and somebody held up and said, the camera guy said, okay, talk into the cell phone, and this particular actor goes, I don't talk to cell phones. We walked off. We're like, okay. Well, the dog doesn't really talk. So.
He would not have done well with a monkey on his head.
No. He didn't.
I mean,
What makes a great person? The guy that played Peter Dismounted.
But it wasn't a, you know, having had this experience, you know, working with CGI, working with animals, working with kids, you know, and wrestling, like it was a complex shoot. I kind of feel like, and maybe you feel the same way, it's like, bring it on, you know, like I feel like I can do anything now because the environment and what we had to achieve in such a short amount of time, and this is a testament to what Robert can do as a director. We did it, and it was, you know, we got a great movie out of it.
I mean, if people don't, you know, to the way we utilize visual effects, there's 1,200 visual effects in this movie. So obviously there's talking shots, but there's a lot of other things going around to make it look seamless. You know, in the wrestling scenes, like, you know, John's wrestling. We were talking before about what's the rite of passage. Explain the rite of passage when you're a wrestler.
There's a thing that we used to do called a broomstick match. So you show up to a developmental wrestling and you've been there for a few months, and to see if you really got chops, you have to have a broomstick match, which means you wrestle kind of an imaginary broomstick. And you call spots, tackle, drop down, hip toss, and you do everything you would do as if you were wrestling an opponent, but it's a broomstick. And it is very similar to a lot of the stuff we did with Brightley, because sometimes we did stuff where Brightley was running the ropes and doing things, but obviously the shots where Brightley was hitting the ropes and springboarding and hitting me in the chest was actually not a real dog. I don't know. I know it looked good, but that was a CGI dog. And so that was just taking reactions from an imaginary dog, which is very similar to this broomstick match that they did in Louisville in 2004.
which is amazing, and I didn't know this, but and John just told me that today. But it's exactly what it's like. You know, John is nothing's hitting his chest when he's doing those flips. So his athleticism is incredible. You know, from anybody's perspective. To try to look like you've been hit by something and then go backwards is pretty crazy, you know. And then to land it the way he did, because you're not doing it once.
Yeah,
I think it's
take after take. You were nice in this movie though. We did a couple of takes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do like 12 takes of a stunt. We were talking about that too.
Yeah.
And around take 10, 11, 12 is when you start getting hurt.
Yeah.
You were very organized.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we should say, like, Robert, you're an amazing director because, you know, no, seriously, what we're doing is, like, you know, as an actor, you know, I put a lot of faith in you, like, when you're saying we got it. Because, you know, sometimes I'm acting to a tennis ball or whatever, right?
Right.
So, you know, I want to do the best job I can, you know, because I want to be good and be successful. But, you know, it's really nice to be able to work with someone you totally trust. Because, like, no, we got this, we're good, you nailed it. Or give me the right direction to take us somewhere, and then you go watch the movie and you're like, look at that. Because sometimes you say, you're going, I don't know, did I do it? I don't know.
I don't know.
You know, but there you go. So
Well, that is the magic of these kind of movies, is they're kind of a combination between a 3D animation movie and a live action movie, although it's all live action. You know, so they really do have my artists have to trust me, and it's really funny to watch it at the beginning because the first few days on set, they're kind of looking at me like, and then finally, and we have what I don't think anybody does, but we do on-set editing. My editor's on set with me, pulling information from the camera, and we're editing as we're going, so I can actually see it. It's the only way you can make these kind of movies. Well, you could do it another way, but you'd be there forever, covering every single base. But they get to see it. I go, okay, this is what it's going to be. This is it's right here. They're seeing it in real time, and that helps. But the suspension of belief in making the movies and suspension and trust, they have to very much trust me, and I don't know why they do, but they do.
Well, hey, we've got
Fool us somehow.
lunch outside, and why don't we could definitely have these guys stick around for a little bit. We got pictures and lunch and everything outside. Why don't we have you guys go outside and any other additional questions? We appreciate you guys being.
Thank you.